Just us trying to keep the city safe. We're barely getting it done. We need to bring Barry home.
There is an answer for every question.
Let's bring our boy home.
To keep running like you said.
It's time!
Please come back to me.
I made you a new suit. You want to take it for a spin? Flash is back.
Hey everybody, The Flash is almost back. They're dropping new promos. There's going to be New York Comic-Con this week, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that we need to break down. Starting with The Flash Season 4. If you didn't know, all of the DC TV shows are coming back next week. My video schedule is going to change a little bit from last year, so no worries, Flash stuff will always be on Tuesdays. That isn't going anywhere. There'll still be the Flash Ring giveaway that I'll do every week, but when Justice League tickets go on sale, that's what the giveaway will be for. I'll explain at the end of the video how that's going to work. But starting with the big stuff first, they've started to do a bunch of interviews about how Barry is going to be affected, how his return will change the Speed Force, what the Reverse Flash is doing, why the Thinker needs Barry and doesn't want to hurt him, and what's going on with some of the other characters. So it's going to be pretty nuts. Like, everybody was pretty happy with the narrative of Season 1. That's why they're going back to that. The way that Arrow went back to Season 1 during Season 5. Like, everybody talks about how Arrow is so much better in Season 5. So that's kind of the vibe that they're giving off, just to make more Cisco puns for Season 4 of The Flash. So you see Iris arguing with Cisco in the trailer, saying, no, we shouldn't bring Barry back. We don't know if he's still alive. And Cisco just refuses to accept that. Cisco reverse engineers Savitar's gun, pulls Barry out, but then you remember the whole reason that Barry went in was to balance the Speed Force. So pulling him out has a couple unintended side effects that won't play out till later in the season. Like, the whole thing is just bringing him back the first couple of episodes. Usually that's what happens, is like heroes try to do something good, but inadvertently cause more problems for themselves down the road. So who else do we know that's stuck in the Speed Force right now? Barry's been balancing it all this year, meaning that all the bad things that he did that led to time remnants, that led to all the stuff the Reverse Flash was doing on Legends of Tomorrow, he sort of walked that back. But because they're not focusing on extra speedsters the first half of the season, I'll explain when I think Reverse Flash is coming back, and it has something to do with the big Fortnite crossover. So everybody was freaking out when we saw this poster of all the alternate Earth X costumes, and it looks very clearly like Barry's meant to be the Reverse Flash of that Earth. Even though he's still Barry, they were all raised as Nazis, so they don't think of themselves as evil. He's like a less asshole version of the Reverse Flash, and his costume is sort of a mixture of mech armor mixed with his red fireman suit that Cisco's turned into the new Flash suit in the Reverse Flash's yellow suit. The reason this looks a little more armored is because they're on a more warlike planet, so they're just more militaristic. So that's why it's extra hardcore. So unless the producers are flat out lying to us, this is as close as we're getting to the Reverse Flash coming back the first half of the season. But I actually think that legit Eobard Thawne will come back during the second half of the season briefly. But again, because they're not doubling down on speedsters this year, I think when he does come back, it'll be a relatively brief one-off story. But the other big change that you may have noticed is that because Iris is now working inside Star Labs with Team Flash, she's not working at the newspaper, meaning that the future newspaper will have to change again. Remember last year how Savitar was trying to kill her and the byline kept changing? Like, they knew that she was safe as long as it said Iris West Allen. But now that she's not working at the newspaper anymore, she wouldn't be the person to write that article. So it's changing anyway, which seems kind of weird. So the only explainer that I have for that now is that maybe at some point between now and when this article is written, she goes back to the newspaper. So she might not permanently be working inside Team Flash here. But the other really big thing that the producers revealed is that the Thinker doesn't hate Barry like the other villains have hated him in the past. They don't want to kill him. He doesn't want to take his speed. He's not like Zoom, I need to be the fastest man alive. They said that the Thinker actually needs Barry and wants to use him to achieve his goal of making the world better, but in the way that he sees fit, in the way that villains want to make the world better, like the Kingpin wants to make New York City better, but his idea of better clashes with Daredevil's. So the Flash obviously has his own idea of what better is, the Thinker has his. That's where their impasse is, and obviously the Flash can't allow himself to be used by anybody else. It could lead to disastrous consequences, and is probably a spin on the Thinker arc from the Wally West Jeff Johns era. Now, that was a little bit different, like he just wanted the Flash's brain so that he could expand his processing power, but the Thinker probably just wants access to Barry to get access to the Speed Force so that he can solve all the world's problems instantaneously. Like, imagine if you're Gorilla Grodd, like you could control everybody, make everything better. The Thinker is like a different version of that. He's not psychic, but there will be a villain in the second episode that will be sort of a warm-up for some of the Thinker's abilities in the way that he can control technology. So he'll probably work up to that. It's not going to be exactly like it is in the comics. Like the Thinker from the Jeff Johns era was more of a cyberspace type villain. That was released after the Matrix movies had come out, so it was more of a spin on the idea of the Matrix. But they also said something really funny about the elongated man. So obviously he's a hero in the comics. They said that when he comes in, he just starts hitting on all the women. He's sort of the odd man out. He's not like any previous character they've had on Team Flash. So he's not an asshole like Earth 2 Harrison Wells was. But they did say that he actually will be lying about where he got his powers from. In the classic comics, he reverse engineered this Jingo fruit that gave him his elasticity. So he was a pretty decent chemist, like how Caitlin helped engineer the Velocity 9 formula during season 2. So when the producers are saying that he's lying about how he got his powers, maybe he just stole them, but it sounds like it's going to be a HR type arc where you have an irredeemable person at the beginning of the season who slowly learns to use his powers and become a hero and is inspired by Barry by the end of the season, but in a much less beta version of the character. Like HR felt really desperate for attention at the beginning of the season, so it'll be fun to see how he alters the dynamic inside Star Labs. But the other thing is this weekend is New York Comic Con, so there's going to be a whole bunch of footage dropping. You probably heard that they're dropping a new Justice League trailer on Sunday. Of course, I'll do a video for it. But the other big thing that's coming up that they'll probably drop a trailer for is Runaways. I've gotten a lot of requests for Runaways videos, and I've just been waiting for that first trailer, so that's probably going to come on Friday night. The Punisher panel is happening on Saturday, so I'll post something from that. But if you have any other New York Comic Con requests, just leave them in the comments below. And I'm expecting new footage from all the DC shows next week too. But I want to start doing a Flash and Arrow Q&A, like DC TV Q&A again each week. That'll probably be a Friday video. So the first one I do will be Friday after all the premieres. So if you see my Game of Thrones videos, then you know exactly how those work. So the Flash Ring giveaway is still happening right now. All you have to do to enter that is just be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. For some strange reason, Justice League tickets aren't on sale, but once that does happen, that's what the giveaway will be for. Congratulations to Atomic Comms, you're the winner from my last video. If you are new to the channel, I announce winners in videos. I just literally copy and paste your comment and stick it in the video. There's some new Rick and Morty that I'll be posting later tonight. You can click here for the new Arrow trailer, and you can click here for more new Rick and Morty. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.